Hi everybody, this is Axe Reacts, and this is my second reaction video. If you caught my first one, I reacted to the openings of Fairy Tail, all 26 of them, and so it only feels natural to now go and do the endings of Fairy Tail. I have the openings and the cards right now. You can check out if you haven't yet. Thank you for those of you that did. But what I'm going to do next is react to the endings. Now, just like I did in my openings, I have started to watch this show, and I've started to fall in love with all this characters and story development and everything about this show. I'm totally enthralled with right now. And so what I wanted to mention is that I am currently around ending 13. I'm just ended, if you're familiar with the show, the Infinity Clock storyline, and I'm just now starting into the Grand Magic Games. So I've seen around the first 12 or 13 endings of the show, but everything past that point, again, will be a blind reaction. I've not seen or heard anything about it, so I'm excited to kind of see, because let's face it, guys, if you've seen these endings, you know that they're all pretty great. So I wanted to make sure I did an ending reaction as well. So thank you for those of you tuning in and watching. Please give this video a like if you enjoy what you saw. And I'm also always looking for more comments and feedback down below, so feel free to share your thoughts. Just a quick setup, guys, for this video. I had a heck of a time finding any type of ending montage that had all the endings together, so I ended up making my own. I tracked down all the endings, which was very difficult to do without actually watching any of the ones I haven't seen. So I kind of compiled them all together and just very carefully made sure not to watch anything. But if you are familiar with the show, you know that the ending songs kind of have a little bit of an intro lead-in while the episode is still playing. So you will hear just kind of the song starting, but you'll still see a black screen. And then once the official credits begin, then the video will pop up. Okay, so without further ado, guys, let's get started. So this is the very first opening, and I love this little lead-in here. Like every time this little song played in the, yeah, right here. Okay, so I love that little lead-in, the little yell there. I loved it every time the episode, you knew it was coming to the end, and so this is just a fun song to dance to groove along with, and it's great. I love this. And one thing I noticed, guys, you know, that with all these endings, it seems they're very character centric. So one character will be focused more than any other, and you can see here that you know, even though it's showing Happy at the moment, Lucy is the main center of this ending, and you kind of see her celestial spirits pop in and out. There they are. There's Lucy. And I noticed too, guys, with Lucy, anytime she's featured in these endings, there's a lot of like shooting stars in the sky and stuff like that. So I thought that was kind of cool that they kind of keep it consistent with that. And I love that this first one too does have Lucy as the centerpiece of this whole thing, because that's basically how you're introduced to Fairy Tail, is through her eyes and through her experiences, is how you learn about Fairy Tail, these characters, and what everything's all about. So this is really cool. Great song. Yep, there's Lucy running, and lots of running, if I recall, in all these ending songs. And now that little spinning clock with like the weather, the sun, the clouds and stars and stuff. Well, there's Lucy upset with everyone at her apartment, so that's always fun. Now, yeah, this little spinning clock here I was starting to mention, I don't really know what that is. I'm still having a hard time placing the significance of that, but it's in pretty much every ending I've seen. So if you guys have any thoughts on that, or know what that is all about, or what it kind of means or connects to, I'd love to know. Just share some thoughts down below. And now we have, in the beginning, Natsu is running, and this is very Happy and Natsu centric. I believe this is the arc where they basically, like, they have a lot of issues with their Fairy Tail organization, their house. It gets destroyed. The villains are coming through. There's Gray's Old Master, more celestial spirits. So Natsu is kind of really put to the test in this arc. And there's a lot there. So I feel like that's kind of why, yeah, especially with Gajeel, that's why. And you learn a lot more about Natsu and the dragons and everything in this arc. So there's Lucy. And Natsu. There's our main crew, Gray, and I believe they're going to show Urza. Yep, there you go. This is another great song. Very easy to kind of hum along with. More running. Lots of running in these endings. You never know what they're actually running to or from, but maybe they'll show them in later ones. Oh, and Lasana. There's Lasana. So you really learn about her history with Natsu in that arc. This is another little trickle lead-in I like. So this is our third one and this is featuring mainly Urza. Yep, there she is. And you, in this arc, learn so much about Urza's history, the Kingdom of Heaven, kind of how she grew up, and the characters that are introduced here that she kind of knew from her childhood. So this was all really, really great. And I love this whole arc too, just because Juvie's one of my favorite characters. I just think she's so funny, the way she always is hiding in the background. So I just like this arc a lot, just because she gets brought in here too. So and there we have Urza running. Another fun song, just to kind of sing along with. It was really interesting with her eye, to learn about with her eye and how all that happened, and like how it doesn't really, tears never come out of that one eye. So I thought that was really cool in the episode. I love this transition right here. There's all her childhood playmates from the castle, and then that transition right here to her current friends and team. I love that one. And this transition here from young to old, it's really cool, really great. And there's the one eye that is crying, which I never noticed it at the time, but after learning through the episode about the other eye, I thought that was a really cool touch here, that they had that shown. All right. Now this little lead-in too, I loved hearing that every time the episode starts, and then it cuts to this right here. Very, very more of a slower type of song, but it's still a great one. I love it. You cannot go wrong with a Fairy Tail ending song or an opening song. They're both great. All 26 of each are just wonderful. This one I thought was great too, because all these photos, you get to see so many little tidbits of different moments and characters. And I thought it was really great. Little Lasana again. I love this little art style here. It's obviously way different than how they're normally drawn, but I think I love how they kind of use that in all their endings as like a, had to have some consistency there. I think that's really cool. I don't know what type of art style it's called, but just the little more cartoony type of characters, I think that's really nice. I think it's cool. And there's that spinning clock weather wheel again. We have Mira Jane walking the beach. So I'd almost say that this ending doesn't focus too much on a specific character, but you see a little bit of Mary Jane, you see a little bit of the other characters, and then obviously this ending right here with a young Loxus, and this is where you learn so much more, and I feel like the main centerpiece of this ending was Fairy Tail itself, if I had to put somebody on it. So, okay, I believe this is number 5 starting. A little lead in here. And some shooting stars. This is another fun one I like to just kind of rock my head to. It's a good one. There's our girl Wendy and Carla. So obviously I would say that for this ending, Wendy is our main centerpiece here. And even though that she is in her organization of the, I forget what they call it, a cat something or something like that. She had her own like little guild that she was part of, but especially after everything was revealed, I won't spoil it just in case anyone has not seen that part. But what happens at the end of that, where she then moves on to join Fairy Tail, this ending really shows does a great job of how she's feeling the whole arc, where she kind of is just, even though she has a guild, she's longing to belong somewhere, and and so now running toward our main characters and to Fairy Tail itself. Yeah, it's great. I love this song. It's a good one. Lots of running. little young Jalal here. So I thought that was cool how they kind of bridged the gap and connection there with little young Wendy. Now this song I can already tell from the little lead-in is much slower. I remember when I was watching this, it was very much more of a lower key, like more mellow type of song than compared to the others. But it was still, this is another great one. And you can see here our main character centerpiece is Gray this time. And so I believe why is because of this is the arc where you really learn about what happened to his old master. I believe you learn a lot more connection with his like unofficial brother, Leon, I believe his name was. Yeah, there's the old master that he had. So you kind of like learn a lot about his history and kind of why he's doing things, why he's always has no clothes on, or shirt on, I should say. That was kind of funny that they actually touched on that in the show. And this is it's this little weird quirk that he has. But he isn't running this time. He's actually kind of walking slowly. Makes me feel like he doesn't have anywhere really to be at. He's just kind of going through the motions, which kind of speaks to his character, I'd say, a little bit. Yeah, another great song, though. Like I keep saying, guys, you cannot go wrong with a Fairy Tail song, ending or opening. They're all great. And so now Gray too, he feels much more himself and at peace and at home with his main crew there. All right, moving on. So this little lead in here. There's our spinning wheel clock. Oh, and you see now the floating islands of Edolis. So I believe that if I, trying to just kind of for you guys, keeping it with telling you who's the center of the, who has the most center of attention with these videos, I would probably say it's the Happy and Carla and the Exies, and then this guy. That just cracks me up. That guy, every time he was doing that thing, it's so funny. Yeah, so I would say featuring Wendy and Carla more than anyone else is this ending. Probably all the Exies, I believe, are. I can't remember if they kind of show them all in this one or in the next one, a little glimpse of them. But yeah, this is the arc where they go to Edolis, and that was just such a wild trip. So different, like it was like very creative to me with like the story of taking it like that to this whole other world and reality. It was really cool. It was a great storyline. Carla running this time. Another easygoing song, mellow song here. Happy and his fish. When I remember this last shot here, I was like, whoa, what's going on there? That was a moment in the episode where Happy just goes all out. He's like, I'm going to do my best to save Carla. This is just a fun, upbeat one. Still in Edolis, so you see some of the floating islands here. It's our spinning clock that I'm not sure what is all about, but this is one of the really great songs. Panther Lily there, and Oh Coco. Now I missed her in the opening. I'm now at the part where she has returned in the Infinity Clock arc, but I missed her in the when watching my opening reaction. So it was really cool that she kind of her Earthland version came in here and got this guy. That's so funny to me. So funny to me when they are all doing it at the end of that arc. And you see those little two in the middle there with the love featuring. I mentioned in my opening too that I loved how those two kind of were together in Edolis, and then they eventually hooked up in Earthland later after the 7-year gap. So this obviously I haven't talked about yet, but this was Lasana's centric arc. You can see here, and Lasana I thought was so cool that how they brought her back. I think it was such a cool thing, and I'm hoping that they do more with her. I'm at the part now of the Grand Magic Games, and I feel like she's kind of reverted back to more of like a background character. Where she's not really, she's kind of there helping out a little bit, but I would love to see her more front and center with the main crew. So I'm hoping that happens. Oh, and that ending shot there at the gravestone, grave sites, that was such a touching moment where Lysana reunites with like, it was so cool. So cool. But I didn't really catch that when I watching that ending for the first time. So this is number 9, moving on. This is another fun song. It's so easy to kind of groove along with. Not too centric, if I had to say. And you see everyone here floating off on the umbrellas. And that guy falling, I forget his name, that villain. Another great, just easy song. Natsu running again. Everyone he's kind of thinking about. Guild Arts was brought in here. So I believe this was the start of the island arc, to Tenbro Island. And so Natsu was really put to the test in that arc, and I feel like he really, his main takeaway from that was that he had to learn how that he can't be the best at all times. He can't be more powerful than somebody else. He would always try and fight Guild Arts and would always lose. Yeah, so in this shot here, so when he was like crying, and that it was like his finally like clicked in his realization that, knowing when that you're not the best, and that can be okay. So I thought it was a really cool moment, and this is kind of coming to terms with all that. So there's Makarov and Natsu. Yeah, this is I love the island arc here. It was really cool. Let's keep going, moving on. Little lead in here. You think you're gonna start slow. I remember the song, so you think you're gonna start slow, and then it gets really kind of more upbeat, grooving. This is number 10 with our logo prominently centered. Fun drums, and it's even builds up even more. Now this is one of my favorite endings. I love this ending because it's such a cool thing to kind of go through the whole history of the show, and you see like the whole timeline through all these photos of like all the events that you've got to experience so far. So I just thought this was the coolest thing. Just to kind of see, there's so much to kind of see here. And then the song is just great. So it's very, very fun. This whole thing. That Owlhead man, saw him. Love the song, love this ending. This might be my favorite. If I had to pick one right now, it might be this one. So you can kind of very easily, guys, all the different photos of all the different arcs and all the different storylines that they've been going through so far in the show since episode 1, and it was so cool to see. Now it cuts here, and we see them kind of making it, piecing it all together. That's really nice. So this one again, I would say, if it maybe Lucy, but I would say Fairy Tail as a whole would be the centerpiece of that ending. That's another very slow, mellow song. And Shooting Stars, so this usually connects with Lucy, so I'm going to say Lucy is the main center of attention for this ending. There's that device, which I now know is the hand of the infinity clock. And that photo, oh my gosh, guys, that photo, there's the transitions with all her dad, or with her dad, all the different moments of her dad. And all the pieces of the infinity clock. So the time I recorded my opening, I was not to this point yet of the show, so I didn't know anything about that stuff. But I've gotten through this arc as of now, as of this recording for our endings, and it was so cool, so great to see. It was such a fun, unique storyline with all these different villains and characters, and some helping out, some did not. But yes, Michelle, I now know who that is. That was Michelle, and her connection with Lucy. I was like, she started off as this fun little, easygoing character, this really sweet little innocent type character, and then what she turns into, I won't spoil it, but I was like, oh my gosh, like she is insane. She's crazy. And then who she actually is at the end to Lucy, I was blown away. I was like, oh my gosh, like that's such a cool, unique idea. And there's Lucy inside the clock, I believe. A little shot there. Yeah, now ending 12. This is the ending part, second half of the Infinity Clock arc. So still a little bit centered on Lucy. More of a slower, mellower song. But she is, you learn she's a writer in the show, so this is her writing out, I'm assuming, the story of the events of the Infinity Clock. There's our crew there. And there's all these, and this guy in the middle, Dan Straight, what's his name? I cracked up when he said his name, but like Sugar Boy and a bunch of these other new characters I've gotten to learn in the recent weeks I've been watching the show. I really thought it was great and really cool how they brought all these guys back. This guy, I believe, and Cobra, and like all the Racer and all these Rashian Seis characters. I loved how they kind of brought them back. There's Midnight. Forget the name of that, like Five Nights at Freddy's looking guy. But yeah, I really thought I thought it was really great how they brought them all back. They had like some new abilities, new powers. They kind of sold their soul a little bit. But yeah, they were another kind of force to be reckoned with in that arc. So that was cool. Okay, now this is ending, I think, around 13. Yes, okay, I put numbers in, so 13. Now this is the last ending I've seen. I've only seen this ending about twice. This is right at the start of the Grand Magic Games, and this features this feather-haired girl. At the time of my opening reaction, I did not know who this is, but I have now since learned that it is Mavis, the very first Fairy Tail Master. And she has not returned on the show yet, but seeing this ending, I know that she is going to be. And the opening of this arc has her in the crowd with the Fairy Tail crew kind of cheering on during the arena scenes. So I know that she's coming back, but I don't know how yet or why. She doesn't seem to age at all, so I'm not sure what's going on there. This is a very slow, very different type of song. I was like kind of very surprised when I first heard this song. And you can see here a little bit of the transition, so I'm curious if she's like some type of like immortal or something, like just doesn't age or something like that's going on, where her spirit is living forever or something like that. I'm very confused, but I'm eager to learn what she's all about. Another easy to slow dance song too. Like the very first time I heard the song, it made me feel like I want to just turn off the lights and light some candles and just sit in the corner in the dark and cry. Very, very sad, depressing, touching song. But yeah. All right, so that is the end there. So everything now at this point, guys, is a blind reaction. I've not seen or heard any of these endings yet. So this is 14 with our girl Lucy. Another little slow song. There's Jalal, and trying to blank on those two girls' names, but the pink-haired girl, I was predicting in my opening reaction that she would come back, maybe join Fairy Tail. I didn't even think about the 7-year gap and how she would look different, so I didn't recognize her in the other openings, but I think it's cool that she was back with the dark-haired girl as well, blanking on her name though. So another Lucy-centric ending. Very easy to dance along with this one. They're all these ending songs are just so great. But I'm assuming this is still involved with the Grand Magic Games. Very excited to watch that arc and see what happens and all that. The whole idea seems kind of fun. So if you didn't catch it before, guys, I'm right at the part where they're about to start the preliminary round, and that's where I'm at in the show at the moment of this recording. So there's our whole crew. Even Mavis I see in the corner. Loxus, I love how they brought Loxus back, and now he's back in the guild. I thought that was really cool. cracked me up when Guild Arts did that, and he kind of wrote that whole letter to Makarov, and like if you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. But it was really funny what he did there. All right, so 15, ending 15. Another slow, sad song. Leaves are falling, makes me feel like things are changing at this point. I'm assuming that's Lucy up on the chair there. Cute little keychains. There's a Plu on the sign. There's Lucy again. She's looking sad though, so I don't know what that means yet. Picking up now. This is making me think they're gonna touch more on the Natsu-Lucy romance a little bit. They kind of tease it all the time in the show. They're having their first date in the show, maybe. Gets her a necklace or keychain or something. Now she's happy. So maybe I'm assuming maybe in that arc they get together finally. They actually kind of go through with their. I might be wrong. I have no idea, but that's just my guess. Little sad piano trickle lead in here. Waiting to see what comes up. More stars. Another sad, slow-moving song. These ending songs are way different than the openings because the openings are just full of action. There's so much movement and transitions and all this craziness going on. So it's kind of interesting to react to these endings because they're so much more slower and mellow, and it's easy to kind of easier, I should say, to kind of spot some things. There's Lucy and looking at her tattoo emblem. Crying though, I don't know what that's about. My gut feeling right now, guys, just watching this blind, is that did she like lose a memory, or did she like forget who she was? And that's why, and maybe in the previous opening, Natsu was like with her and like teaching her who she was again, and this is like her learning about Fairy Tail. Or maybe, I have no idea. Just a guess. I think that would be interesting if that was the case. There's Natsu and Happy. Happy to see Lucy. She's tearing up, and there's everybody. How beautiful! So he's like, hey, let's go back to Fairy Tail. So maybe Lucy's on some kind of journey, maybe going through some experiences, and needs to kind of reconnect herself with Fairy Tail in these parts. This is 17. This is a little more upbeat than the others. More like a lot of symbols, like zodiac symbols. So maybe it's Lucy's keys or celestial spirits, I'm assuming. Caught a few of them. Lucy running. Lucy is very much in the centerpieces of most of these openings. Aries there, so it is about Lucy and her keys. Taurus, Gemini. So I kind of was guessing, guys, in my opening reaction that she would get all 12 zodiac keys. So I'm wondering if this is the arc where maybe that all starts to happen. And I'm assuming once you get all 12, something happens. That's a new one. I don't know who that celestial spirit is. Scorpio. This guy was always funny. Love his voice. He looks like this goofy guy. The ram one guy. I forget his name. But, he was pretty cool. And there's Aquarius. I love how Aquarius kind of just rags on Lucy all the time. About how she doesn't have a boyfriend and stuff. It's just so funny. But there's a few of these I'm assuming, are zodiac symbols, and I just do not I don't recognize them, so I'm assuming they're coming in this arc. And now we get the whole crew running. That was a good one. I like that song. Some weird looking girl. She had I noticed just now the horns though of Ares. That's another. I'm wondering if these are also celestial spirits. Maybe that's like a human version of Gemini. That's my guess. Because there's the Cancer the Crab, and he looking different than how you normally see him. There's Virgo, looking different, not in her maid outfit. So I'm guessing, and that's a new one, I don't know who that is, but I'm guessing all these are the celestial spirits. There's some new guy, looks like playing Yu-Gi-Oh or something. Okay, so it's a Centaur. Minotaur. Interesting looking characters here. It's like a losing her ice cream there. Uh-oh. Ooh, that one's creepy looking. So I'm assuming this arc is all about the celestial spirits. Maybe the one before and this one is very focused on all these celestial spirits. Maybe some will be good. That guy, he looks like a villain if I had to pick. So maybe it's like spirits battling spirits. Maybe that's my guess. That's my prediction so far. 19. Very different. Like in the kind of the rhythm here, it's like a little bit more of like a Latin-esque. Reminds you of like a level of like Gran Turismo or something. That old car game. It's catchy though. So looks like they're just kind of focusing on different parts of the body. And I caught in the beginning it was blonde hair, so I'm assuming this is Lucy. Looks like Lucy. But this is very different as far as a visual, because like usually I'm used to those little like the more cartoony type of versions of these characters and bunch of running, but nothing seems to be happening yet with all that. So, curious to see, or not curious, but I'm kind of find this interesting that they kind of changed it up like that. So, all right, yeah, so I can pretty much tell now that's Lucy. I like the song; it is a catchy song. And there's Lucy again. Now you see Oliver. Shoes are off. One shoe is missing. I don't think that's relevant to the show, but that's just the picture. It was a cool picture, though. I liked it. A little lead in here. Very cosmic-y. We have our crew spinning clockwise. Maybe that's a reference to the old clock wheel that they did in some of the earlier openings. Trying to look through some of the characters here. It's a little hard to tell with them upside down. Obviously, you got your main cast here. I see Makarov. I see a few. Trying to angle my head a little bit. Wait, I'll wait till they spin back around. Oh, now we're transitioning from blue to orangey red. So there's Natsu front and center. There's that longer-haired character behind him. I don't recognize who that is. That might be somebody new. I'm seeing like I'm seeing Mavis, and I'm seeing Makarov and Gray. I don't see Lucy, and I don't see Urza. I see Aquarius. I think that's Kana in the upside down bottom right. Zooming out a little bit. I'm liking the song, digging it. It's good. Oh, and I think Lucy's there. I see Lucy now right in front of Aquarius. Oh, I see Hades, the old master. Hades on the right. Surprising to see him back. I thought they defeated him. This is 21. We have Natsu strolling down with Dragon. So I'm predicting, I know it's a matter of time. At some point, the dragons are coming back. So I'm assuming this at this point, the dragons are back. We have our main crew there, Urza and Gray and Makarov. Laxus. I'm very curious to see what they do with Laxus. How much they bring him back, and if he ever becomes the new leader, like Makarov originally wanted. Or maybe not him, but like I say, Laxus himself wanted. There's Lucy. Now he's starting to run. Gajiel and Panther Lily. Lucy and Carla. Not Wendy and Carla. Jalal. So he sticks around, it seems, and then I don't know who that is. Oh no, he's one of the new Dragon Slayers. He's just showed up, but I don't know his name yet. And then this guy I don't recognize. I think he might be the other one. I think Sting. Sting was the name of one of the guys. I'm only an episode or two in, and they introduced those two characters. The other one I didn't know. There's Natsu Sleep. So let's say this is a little bit more of a Natsu centric. Ooh, do they get their own house? Cute. This is 22. Liking the song so far. And that looks like Mavis, our feather-haired girl that I could not play for the longest time. See her around. I don't know who's running next to her. I can't tell from the figure silhouette. Liking the song though. The song's good. Oh yeah, so that's some new character I don't know. Catchy. I like the song. Some more new characters. Really liking this song. This is a great song. Very easy to groove to. Oh, okay, wait. Okay, so the guy on the right there, I think I saw a quick flash of him in the opening when I reacted to my openings. He's that Treehead man. And that other guy with the eye patch, I think, is Hades, like a young Hades. So maybe this... Alright, this must be the Fairy Tail Zero ending. This is that prequel. And now we're at Tembro Island. That's the chair of the island. And that looks like Happy on the right. Maybe not so loud. Couldn't tell. Alright, 23. Almost done. More shooting stars, so I'm expecting Lucy's going to come up in a moment. Smiley face clouds remind me of the Mario Brothers. Alright, yeah, there's Lucy. Looking sad again. She's always looking sad in these endings. Always looking for that affirmation, like that, yes, you are good enough to be in Fairy Tail, and you are part of this family. You do belong, so that's what I feel like she's always needs to hear that. We're back to the it's like the little more cartoony version, right? Yeah, there it is. And now she's running again. Lots of running in these endings. So it feels like we're back to back to form a little bit, back to how it was in the beginning of the endings, I should say. We don't have the spinning wheel clock, but we are very focused on the weather here, the clouds and the sun and stars. I'm still curious about what that's all about. So again, guys, if you have any thoughts on that, I'd love to hear it, because I can't figure it out myself yet. I can't place what that's for or what the meaning is with that. All right, so that was a good ending. I like the song there. All right, yeah, this clock. Okay, now it's like a ticking clock, and we have Fairy Tail's logo on the top. Some other logo I don't recognize on the bottom, and Fairy Tail's house, and some other castle. And they're switching from top to bottom and vice versa, so I'm wondering if this new logo is involved with taking over, doing something bad. This guy, try and remember his name. Oh, Zareth. Yeah, Zareth. He was on the island, so he's back. Natsu's running, so maybe this is a Natsu-centric ending. Okay, so yeah, it seems very much like the two factions, the two houses are going to be clashing or at war. Natsu's Fairy Tail group, and I think that's lots of. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Lots of villains in the middle, lots of characters in the middle I do not recognize, but they're kind of cool looking. It's hard to tell a little bit with their that new design. But yeah, Zareth here. I think that's Zareth at least. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I thought it looked like Zareth to me, but this throws me off a little bit. This because I don't think there was ever a history with them as a young Natsu. So maybe it is somebody else. I don't know. I can't place it. Nice little lead in here. Soft, mellow song. So we are nearing the end. This is ending 25. We have two little, reminds me of like the magic bags of like Legend of Zelda. I played that game, and the magic powder bags, if I had to guess, but they do not recognize the symbols on them though. Natsu again, looking like something got destroyed, or he's in some rubble or destruction. Could. Oh, there's Gray. Okay, very similar again, but different season. Or different location, maybe I should say. Nice, catchy song, just kind of slow moving. Digging the song. Julia and Lucy. The intense stare down. Thinking of happier times, maybe, when they were younger. There's Urza. I feel like we haven't seen Urza in a while in the endings. So all right, guys, this is number 26. This is our final Fairy Tail ending. More shooting stars. So, Lucy, are we going to see Lucy? Good song. Good so far. Yeah, okay, there's Lucy and the rest of the crew. Natsu running. Lots of running. Or I should say we're back to running. We a few of those in the middle, they skipped that. There's our main rest of the crew there. Not looking too happy. Okay, there's Mavis and Zareth. I keep blanking on his name. Yeah, so unless it's not Zareth, I said before that might not be Zareth. I don't know. That little shot with him with a young Natsu threw me off. Bad weather going on there. Ooh, the stars are flying now. Flying through. Natsu's all beat up, but looking proud. And there's our main Fairy Tail building. And now they are running off on some new adventure. So maybe that's how the show ends. Maybe it's something where like they finally win the day, save the day, and then they move on to something new at that point. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you if you stuck around this long to watch my reaction of all Fairy Tail endings. Please, again, like this video if you enjoy what you saw, and I'm always, again, looking for comments below about any feedback. Please tell me what you thought your favorite ending was, and that would be fun to kind of hear. So otherwise, guys, thank you again so much, and we will talk to you soon. I'm hoping to return with another reaction soon.